Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's Fish Like a Local,
an angler's podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran and first responder service organization.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. You're watching Fish Like a Local, an angler's podcast. I'm Captain Justin, my co-host Captain Keith Davis, Robert, I know somebody Walker, Joe the Pro Vecchie, and I'd like to welcome special guest tonight, Mr. Jason Aspinwall, Shrimp Pimp himself.
All right.
Buddy? Welcome.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming in. Joe, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I mean, I like to fish for flounder, and I know this guy sure as hell.
Oh, he doesn't like flounder.
So I guess you want to talk about some flatfish, man?
Let's talk about some flatfish.
All right. Yeah. Where you guys want to start?
So, all right, I have to admit that I'm not good at catching flounder. I actually just learned how to catch one on purpose on a lure about 3 or 4 years ago. No, seriously. And I still talk to people all the time, and they're like, I don't even know you could catch a flounder on a lure. I thought you had to giggle, or I thought it had to be a bull in there. So walk me through the steps of how to catch a flounder, never catching one before on a lure. Am I on the bottom? I know they sit on the bottom, but am I dragging that lure?
Do we want to put this at
lure?
What level are we putting the instruction at? Are we a beginner? Or
I'm a beginner, and I need help learning how to target flounder and consistently produce flounder on purpose.
And I'd like to take it a step further. Let's talk about a guy that comes from freshwater.
Yeah, how can you connect those dots?
So this
Because I get
video
that all
is
the
now
time.
made for children.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I get that all the time. People say, I've lived here for 10 years, and I used to freshwater fish. I wish I knew how to target saltwater fish.
Okay. Well, let's you guys break it down. Y'all are the flounder pros.
You're the flounder pounders. Let's go.
Jason, you want to kick it off?
I mean, I'm not a big bass fisher, but I used to fish, and flounder's kind of similar to the way your retrieve is, and it's like you're using a culprit or something. But
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if you can catch a bass, you can catch a flounder.
Yeah, so a lot of people come down here, freshwater anglers, they are scared shitless of saltwater. But what I've learned, they have the finesse, right? They feel the bite. And if you're a bass fisherman, obviously you feel the bite.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've got to explain the bite. So Justin and I, as charter captains, we go out there and we're trying to explain the bite. And it's like we're trying to compare it to freshwater because he grew up in North Alabama. I came from all over the world, mostly freshwater. But it's like trying to explain to somebody, even a sheep's head bite or a flounder bite. So you guys run with it.
well, I know a lot of times what I'm seeing, a lot of people go out first thing in the morning. They want to get on a bite, and the tide is the main thing for me. I try not to go out unless there's high water, but sometimes we can't fish when there's high water. So I've been, like a lot of the flounder I've been finding now, or been around the deeper part of the piers because we've had the tide stays low most of the daylight time.
Yeah.
So it's just.
So are you wanting that water moving pretty good in a higher tide situation, or does it matter with flounder like it does some other species?
To me, I find them staged up a little as the water's high. And of course, when it moves, you'll find the fast breaking points with the tide coming around. And it don't have to be right up against the bank. I mean, just wherever that tide's sweeping, over the current sweeping out there, you can throw, it could be 6, 8 foot. They're going to be laid there.
Gotcha.
That's where that bait's coming through.
And you're saying you equate that for the freshwater guys to throwing a culprit worm on that worm hook because it's on the bottom, and that's where you're moving it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's slow.
And I don't know about you, but this, usually they're pretty quick on it. You can have a decent cadence. But this year I've been just about bouncing it around in one spot to get a good thump.
Yeah.
I've been till you run out of slack and you got to reel your stuff up just to get a thump on it. So
Yeah, I've had a lot of short strikes, like just getting the tail.
yeah.
But I think if you've thrown a Texas rig, you know, like a stick bait or a curly tail even, it's almost the same thing. You know, you're working it off the bottom and reeling your slack.
So let me throw this out. Have you ever thrown a trailer hook?
I've seen some guys doing like a
Behind it.
tandem rig on the flounder.
Yeah, no, tandem rig is awesome.
Is that what you're talking about,
Yes.
trailer hook? Yeah,
100%, yes.
So now, when I research how to catch a fish, I don't just research how to catch a flounder in Alabama. I look at techniques that people are using all over the country. And I see those guys up in the Northeast that have a bucktail jig on the bottom with a squid, and then they've just got a kell hook and a fluke on the top. And they're bringing that bucktail over and hitting that flounder on the head. And when he looks up, 90% of their hits are on that fluke up there on the kell hook. Yeah, even Mark over there at Beach Bum, he fishes that way. And he says the majority of his fish are caught up there on that top fluke.
Yeah.
So talk about that bite, that thump you're talking about. How does that, to me, that doesn't, as far as bass fishing, don't really cross over. That's a lot different. At that point, it becomes a little different. Most of the bass that we would catch growing up, they almost would pick that bait up. You could feel them swimming with it, where that flounder just kind of thumps and grabs.
Honestly, dude, it's hard to explain until you feel it.
Yeah.
I've had it described as like an electric shock on the line by other
I
flounder
can see
fishermen.
that. You can literally feel them chewing on your lure or trying to swallow it.
So do
But
you need to wait to set the hook? Because I've read articles that say when you think it's ready, wait. And then when you think it's ready, wait. And if you think it's been long enough, wait.
I definitely
I
say
disagree
wait.
with that.
Okay,
I'll wait
because that
once.
flounder's got a small mouth. And when he starts at the tail on this fish bite sturdy boxer, and he's got to get to the hook
Yes.
on your jig head before you're then able to set it.
That's why I also let a lot of people know the long shank is a big deal to flounder fishing. If you're using short shanks that you use for your speckled trout, you're going to miss lots of flounder.
That's going to cause that short strike Joe's talking about, probably.
Yes, I swapped to long shank and
That makes sense.
there's
Well,
no misses.
Joe's wife also switched to a long shank,
Oh, yeah.
but she hasn't told him yet.
We're going to have to edit that.
No, we're going to have to leave it.
Leave it in there. Let's go. That's what she said.
But no, so the short strike he's talking about, you know, you're talking about those little hooks. They got the little, you know, it could be a 4/0 hook, but it's only an inch long. But these are, you know, 2 inches. It's got a lot of meat hanging out. But like
100%.
the last few days I went out, I'm using a hook that's even longer than that.
Okay.
I really like the looks of these too.
They just nip in the tail, dude. Like
I like the way the heads are small. When I'm fishing for flounder, this is way too much weight for me right here.
Really?
That
What is
sits
that,
it
a
down.
quarter?
It sits it down like a bullet. Now for trout or redfish and you're retrieving pretty quickly,
So what are you dropping, an 1/8 ounce?
1/8 ounce, but it's got a
Damn.
small head just like this one here. So that way you get all the flutter going down, give it time, he can come up under it and just gulp it.
Makes sense.
So how many hits are you getting on the drop this time of year as it's fluttering down?
Yeah. Do y'all see that much with flounder? Or are they hitting it? I know.
Is it a drop? Obviously they're on the bottom. We know this,
Yeah.
but
It's usually it's just a thump, but I'm sure I think a lot of them are coming up and grabbing it and going with it. I get a lot that hit it and run, which is to me worst case scenario because they're running with a tail of the bait,
right,
like
right.
the dirty boxer.
Yeah.
They're running with it in his
My
mouth,
favorite.
and you got him on a little bit until he rips it. And,
Say if you go to set it and that hook's not in there, you're losing the tail. You're rebaiting.
and that way the long shank bait brings your hook way down here instead of
I
a lot
like that
shorter
theory.
in there.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just not patient enough to fish 1/8 ounce.
Joe fishes
I'm not
really
either.
aggressive. I don't know. I'm
Joe
not
is
fishing with you guys,
aggressive.
Go follow behind him. You're not gonna
You
keep
fish
up.
really aggressive too, approach to it, or
I work it pretty slow.
And see, that's the difference, Joe. You're talking about how he moves spots, and you
Yeah,
can't keep up with
he's
him.
just covering
First-
water fastly.
But the amount of time he spends in each spot is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's how long do you leave that bait,
Yeah.
and how slowly or aggressively do you retrieve that?
Yeah, I just like to feel the bottom. If I can
Okay.
feel the bottom, I'm confident I catch flounder.
So I like to do this on some of these episodes. Let's break this down. So you guys are flounder pros. If somebody's coming down here on vacation, they're watching this up, say Gunnersville, we got a lot of following up there.
Yeah.
So let's say they're coming down here, and we've already talked about them. Let's say they bass fish, they bluegill fish. They're not caught a flounder, but they go, holy crap, I want to catch one of those. What is the top, I don't know if you'd say 5 things, what's the 2 or 3 that they the must do right out the gate? You said go find the current. List off a few of y'all's first things you're looking for to help these people as beginners pick up their first flounder.
Yeah, if it's a high water, I'm fishing close to the flooded grass, and I think also the greener grass rather than the brown is better.
Okay.
I think they mill on the green grass, and it helps their system digest. Because
Okay.
I don't know, I check a lot of flounder when cleaning them, just see what they're eating on, and there's a lot of like green chlorophyll and stuff in there.
Really?
So
I mean, dogs do the same thing.
Yeah.
When they have an upset stomach, everybody asks, "Why is my dog eating that grass? Is that bad?" And they're like, "No, it's a
No,
natural. It's an herbal remedy." And you're saying you're finding that in the bellies of these fish.
And then I found a lot of the flounder on the green grass rather than the just brown marsh that you're used to. So I'd pick out green spots, and then I'll pass up brown grass just to get to the green spot and work it thoroughly rather than
That's
just
interesting.
We're really blessed to live in such a fabulous fishery. I was talking to Jeremiah Kelly last night, and he said that 2 years ago he was going to Mississippi to catch all his flounder. He said, but now he's consistently catching them 16, 18, 20 inches over here.
That boy ain't catching no 20 inches.
I'm just saying.
I think that was a call out, Yak Daddy.
Oh, shots fired.
Shots fired, Yak Daddy.
But anyway, so the point is that the conservation efforts that Fish and Wildlife have gone through, shutting it down in November when those fish are migrating out to breed, the efforts you were talking about earlier, how many fish are CCA releasing?
They've released in the lagoon 30,000. I don't know if they released twice or not, but they got several spots. I think Cotton Bayou, they released 35,000.
That's an awesome.
Which majority of them get ate and consumed by predators, but I mean,
Between
still.
the efforts of the fisheries to breed those fish in captivity and then release them into the wild, shutting down the flounder season during November when they're breeding, and increasing our size limit from 12 to 14 inches and decreasing our krill limit has really paid off to the point that we're
It
now
has.
consistently catching
100%.
much larger fish in this area. Do y'all agree?
Oh,
I do
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Come on.
And
I agree with the limits and the November shutting down. I've noticed this year, I got 3 flounder that are right at 19 inches. I should have had 4 or 5 flounder at 20 inches. I'm not seeing near, there's numbers, but there's no sizes.
Okay.
And you know, when they did all that regulation changing too, they also, and I have no beef with commercial fishermen, but they doubled the limit.
Yeah.
So instead of 40, they're allowed 80.
Yeah, but there's only like 4 of those guys that even have that license.
Yeah. Well, there's.
We were at the public hearings and having the conversations. I have a close relationship with former director Scott Bannon. It really did not affect the population
So-
like the public thinks it did.
There's a lot of the guys that have the hook and line too, but hook and line, you really, unless you're
I don't
catching
know.
like you guys, that's
that
it's
guy,
hard.
I know a few. But
Yeah,
you
and
see
they
the thing
whoop
too. I'm not saying that made the big difference. The big difference is 3 or 4 years ago, we only had a small group of flounder fishermen. In the last 2 years,
It's got popular.
we've quadrupled that. So they need to take that in consideration.
Okay.
And I almost think there should be a slot limit.
Okay,
I
we're
agree.
having this
Dude, I
conversation.
So
Joe
what would
just
you
said-
what would you designate slot if it was you're the
1 over 20 per person.
1 over 20?
1 over 20.
So my PB is 24 and a half, caught 200 yards from my front door out
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
But you're not catching 1 over 20 this year.
And not yet.
Okay.
He said not
So
yet,
then,
but I'm
so then,
planning
do
on
we
it.
And I
need to
probably
move that
won't.
slot down to 18?
no,
No, because
they're there.
there's a lot of 20s that been caught. I ain't seen them this year, but I know like last year and the year before, I caught several. I released. I kept a few that swallowed it all the way to the gullet.
Exactly.
It didn't make it, and that happens. But
And that's the only downside with the oversized fish not being able to keep a couples, because every once in a while that's going to happen. You got to throw him back.
Right,
anyways.
and we've had this discussion before. I catch 24 and a half. It's a PV, but I just pulled a good breeder.
Yeah.
That's
but
solid.
I'd
Right. So where's the
I'd
balance?
be good with 19. I mean, 19, 20.
That's a dude.
I mean, that's a good.
if you
thick
Yeah, that's
meal.
good eating.
If you catch 3 fish at 18 to 19 inches, dude, that is
That's
a solid
great eating.
meal.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a
you,
solid meal.
you look at
If
our
not 2 or
tournaments.
3.
A lot of these tournaments down here too. These fish vary in how thick they are, big
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I've seen Keith bring a fish in an inch bigger than my wife's flounder. She caught her biggest, and her flounder outweigh it because
About
hers
half
was like
pound.
it was thick, where his was
Yeah,
skinny.
she had a 19
So-
and a half. I had a 20 and a half, and hers was a half pound.
Yeah,
good.
I think that would make the
Literally.
tournaments a little more competitive too. It'd be similar to the redfish.
I haven't seen sizes yet this year.
I don't think it would affect the tournament scene too much, because realistically, if you have you catch one solid flounder that's 22, 22 and a half, 23, you're only going to take that one fish to the weigh-in.
No, I'm talking if you did it based on the slot only.
Yeah.
And I guess didn't do the oversized keeper.
Oh, okay.
Redfish,
I
when we could
understand.
keep now they can't, but when we could keep a bull, our tournament was still just the slot. So if we did a 20-inch slot on the flounder, you're going to see, I know you guys are going to be coming in there, everybody's going to have something right at 20, and it's going to come down to genetics, or those breeders you're talking about, those monsters, some of their lineage, who's going to win.
That's a tough line right there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I don't want to make those decisions. Those guys, I don't want their job.
We're gonna let Robert make that decision.
It would be good to
I
be
think
on
it would
that
help. I think it would help. But
Yeah. So I actually learned how to catch flounder in Little Lagoon wade fishing, that canal right
Yep.
there. Just walking out there waist deep with one fishing rod, and it was actually Berkeley Gulp, the shrimp nuclear chicken color.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I learned to target flounder on a couple years ago, and I just stood there and I worked that bait until I finally got a hookup.
Yeah.
But I'm still not to the point where I can figure out. I'm leaving my house today and I'm targeting this species and I'm going to produce it and I'm going to bring it home. So that I'm going to have to go fishing with y'all.
You got
Well,
mad at him.
I watched Joe and Perry, that episode we shot
Oh,
in
yes.
Lagoon. I watched that over and over, editing it and repeat and repeat and repeat. And I went back and fished those areas, and I watched them when that fish would bite, and I started following what y'all were doing, and I finally started hooking some flounder. Like these
But they
things had
fished-
had my number for a while.
They fished totally different though, and it
Oh,
was
it
amazing.
was-
I did the same thing. I rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched
I
it.
went and
They
did homework.
fished totally different.
There's a lot of finesse too.
Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of finesse. in
Well, Joe
fishing.
fishes aggressive.
but he's
I
still
catch a lot of snags.
And I'm also, y'all talked about the double rig. Man, that's
Is it a killer?
dirty water. Like, say this weekend we had the rain, it's muddy. I'll have a double rig.
Okay,
I'll have the brawler
It's
on the weedless up top, and I'll have the dirty bottom on the bottom.
All right. That's
Okay,
good to
that's
know.
makes sense.
And
Make
it-
notes, boys.
And when you throw them, I found this out. I fish the grass religiously when it's high water, but with the double rig, I'm casting out places I ain't dreamed of flounder being out there. I'm catching trout, redfish, flounder. Instead of working the grass line, I'll stay on the grass line, find one or two, but just you can fan cast with it and still find flounder.
Yeah.
So something we discussed on a recent episode was leader size. If you're tying that tandem rig up, what are you throwing leader wise? I know Joe's pretty heavy. You said you went to what, 30 now?
Yeah, I fish 30.
I use 15 fluoride.
15
Really?
4.
And do you think
Damn.
fluoro versus mono makes a difference?
Around docks, I will have fluoro. Grass, don't worry. But I grew up fishing fluoro anyway. I put fluoro on everything. My redfish and the trout, 15-pound fluoro.
I got you.
Really?
That's-
Just cross the board,
40-inch
inshore
shreds.
slam,
But
50 pound
that just
fluoro.
goes to show you right there. Both these guys crush inshore species fish. They're, I hate to admit it, but much better at it than I am.
Yeah, they
Oh,
kick
I-
our ass.
Much
True
better.
story.
at it.
They kick our
and they're
ass.
two different strategies. You're half of what he's throwing, and
That's
you're both
crazy.
hooking a lot of fish.
And then you throw Perry in the mix.
Perry's hardcore fluorocarbon. What was he, 20?
Think so.
So you got, that's the whole range.
I don't know. Maybe I set hooks too dude.
I mean, Joe,
I've seen great rods setting hooks, so yeah.
that's why we don't let you put the plug in the boat, because we can't get it out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
that's
he's
clear
freaking
water.
cock strong, right?
Like, I don't know. Like last year, I really got on flounder with you and shit, and I kept breaking off on 20, setting hooks. And anytime I go out, like maybe it's a big flounder or something, but caught the teeth right, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna start throwing 30, and I haven't had a problem. I'm still catching trout.
Still catching
redfish.
fish.
So I tell you what, I was talking to Andrea Bussey the other day. She fished the hooked up for United Cerebral Palsy, and she was using those Daiichi. It's actually the Boss Cat from TTI Blakemore, and she said because of that circle hook, she's never had more perfect hook sets. But she's fishing live bait too.
Yeah.
So the point is, if you're using the right hook, you shouldn't have to set it and rip their soul out. And that's
like to.
I know, but that's the one thing that
Joe loves that part.
so when you're going from freshwater to saltwater, you're used to in the freshwater when that bass hits and
Rip their
moves that
lips
line
off.
and you feel that weight, you rip their soul out. But
Yeah.
in saltwater, you don't have to do that as much, I feel.
I don't know.
Because especially with the long shank.
Where do you stand on that, Jason?
Man, when I get a thump and I know it's time to say, look, I'm cupping the spool and I'm jacking his jaw. That's on my video. I cup the spool, I drive it home and reel.
Okay.
So this might be a standpoint too, because I've been buying like the cheaper fluorocarbons, the stuff that's budget friendly.
It all comes from the same factory.
but
in
it
China.
could be, huh?
I've always used Seaguar.
Cigars, yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
quality line.
I'm not buying that. Maybe that's
Okay,
my problem.
well then, Cigar, you need to sponsor us.
But-
Send us some good products.
Yeah,
Let's
Only-
try it.
I only
We'll go
use
head to
20
head.
pound when I'm sheephead fishing.
Yeah, I've been buying that.
Now,
stuff.
See, I
sheephead-
fish the 15 fluoro a lot on sheephead.
Yeah, but I get
Yeah.
broke off on anything less than 20 on the sheep's head all the time.
And that's another reason at 30 is because of sheep's head.
Yeah.
And because I am setting the fire out of that hook on sheep's head.
Yeah,
I'm not
Plus
losing
pilings.
sheep's. Yeah, I'm not losing one.
All right, can I go crazy with it for a
Go ahead.
second?
Yeah, come on.
Let's talk about some Alabama rigs. I still want to try these in salt water.
One of us is going to have to go.
The
with it.
umbrella rig.
I'll do it. You got one? Can I have one?
Yeah, we
Yes,
we
I've
a
got
couple.
one
I don't
right
have
up
one.
there.
All right, there's one over
What
there.
is it?
An Alabama rig, umbrella rig.
You seen like they throw in bass?
What? Hold on.
Yeah, grab one, Joe.
Man,
I think it's up there in the corner or the sling.
over here.
It's a 5-banger Alabama rig.
oh yeah, I have seen some.
All right, hold it up.
What?
We are going to experiment the living bejesus out of this
so how long
year.
a leader are we putting on that? Drop
We're
it.
gonna do them all different.
Really? You don't
We're
need
gonna
it?
do them all different.
No, you don't put the leader on the back end. You just hook the.
Yeah, you really
can,
wouldn't
but
even
if you
need
made
leader
them all
on it.
random,
You don't put
different
any
lengths.
They get
They're
wrapped
gonna
up.
tangle.
That's what I was wondering. Is that's
No,
gonna be
you
a
just
mess.
put the jig head
The
on the
jig head
swivel.
here, but are you talking about in front?
No, well we could on the front, but I'm talking.
I don't
about
think
for
you
the
need it.
lure.
And then they run 5 dirty boxes.
Yes. I'm
I
gonna
could put a
try it
redfish
my
on
dang
this.
self.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not with a dirty box.
So let's do this
Now,
tomorrow.
What would you use? What lure would you use
Yeah, what are you loading on that? Thing?
on that?
I might do all brawlers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking because you're not really bringing that on the bottom. Say,
Swivel too.
But you could drop it all the way at the bottom and run it through the flounder.
Now he's targeting redfish on fish bites, brawlers, the fluke style, 5 of those on an 1/8 ounce jig head.
You don't even need jig
I
head.
think-
I don't
I
believe.
think-
No, that ain't an 8 ounce, is it?
No, I'm asking
No,
what
heck
size
no.
jig head are you putting on those swivels?
I think you put weedless.
Yeah.
Yeah, rig 'em
Yeah.
weedless.
I don't
I'm with
even
that.
know.
Rig it weedless.
Yeah.
Let's go play with it and see what happens.
dude, I want to troll it for Spanish tomorrow. I'm going to put some different stuff on it.
You're
Take
gonna-
Cody.
So
out.
That would be something to get to. Nice. 30.
shout out to Columbia PFG.
Yes.
Justin, Keith, and I are
I think I
actually
put the butt
taking
kickers
Cody
on.
Reed,
Thank
the
you, Cody.
marketing director
Yeah.
for Alabama and Georgia Fishing tomorrow. Y'all wish us luck. We're trying.
Hopefully, show him a good time.
We're going
Like I said,
on a meat
Robert,
run.
I hope you get sick.
And
You
Joe,
were
I hope
warned.
he gives me
He
a shirt
was
for you.
warned.
Oh well, yeah. In that case, I like.
Yeah,
the guy.
you are wearing Cody's shirt, so.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we're going out tomorrow. Justin, what are we targeting? I know Vermilion.
Yeah.
Trigger's still in season.
I really want to go and hit some Spanish as we
Yeah,
get into the
Spanish are
bass.
starting to show up. I'm
Pre-smash,
hearing
pre-smash
All right,
the
so-
Spanish.
the alewives that we call them are not showing up in numbers quite yet like they're supposed to be. Once they do, it'll be more of a top order bite. So right now, we should be using a gotcha plug a little bit lower in the water column.
Anything that dives a little bit. So that's why I'm going to drop
Lunker
a bunch of these
hunt,
tomorrow.
baby. Look at this.
Lunker hunt distress.
We have caught everything off these lunker hunts. Everything.
Trolling wise, that's
we
so
have
simple.
caught from mahi to red snapper trolling these suckers.
No lie. No lie.
No BS. We literally have lunker hunt distress. What is that? The F6? What's it called?
It's
6F.
6F.
6F, my bad.
So
Impact
it dives
6F.
up to 6 feet.
But
But it's just a crankbait. It's not just a crankbait. It is a minnow imitation crankbait that matches our
Match the
mullet
hatch.
in this area.
Yeah,
it looks
match
like a
the hatch.
mullet or it looks like a schooling
Yeah.
bait fish. But what I'm wanting to do tomorrow, really to sum that up, I want to hit some Spanish early because I do want to do one thing. I know we can't keep them. The red snapper. I know there are some monsters right now near shore.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm going to be in the Dominican Republic opening weekend, so I'm going to miss all the big girls getting whacked at the beach here. So
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
want
be
to
in
go hook a few
Arkansas.
for fun.
White girl problems.
Yeah, and then head off to. I'm hoping to go fishing down there. I don't know. What
Yeah.
I got to see what it's going to cost, but
So when is it open here?
May 22nd. May
22nd.
So
I think we have 77 days this year.
Yeah, no, we're running 7 days a week this year.
7 days, not 5.
Yeah.
yeah, I think till the end of the year or the quota.
So
gets
y'all
out
come
before.
join us. Let's go fill the meat
Yep.
lockers.
Well-
Contact Fish Like a Local. You want to go out there, catch some snapper, they'll put you on it.
That's more my wheelhouse than doing the flounder.
That-
I love doing the inshore fishing, but I'm not as. I'm learning being with these guys over the last few years. So
I'm pretty mad that I didn't get out in the Sphere and Amberjack because they closed it so quickly.
well, they'll open it again. Hopefully in
Yeah.
September we go drop
Yeah.
it.
You're gonna
The
catch
opening
one
day.
anyway.
You hear
We're
me?
gonna
I'm
try to
jumping
make
off
it.
that
last.
We still got to take
Atmosphere.
Gio to get Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Yes,
he's getting hammered.
yes,
yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Donkey Kong.
Jason,
Arms
do you
producer
get offshore
Giovanni.
any? Do you do much out
I
there in the
fished a lot of blue water offshore before I was offshore. We used to go to like Marathon Jacket and just
Nice.
waylay some big AJs there.
Hell yeah.
60
Right,
pound
all
average.
right.
Nice.
But that's kind of got burned out over there, and I found the love for the inshore.
I got
There
you.
Them are
you go.
long days and long nights.
Total change of subject. You said the bait wasn't moving in like it was.
No, I
So-
said the L-Y.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're
Have
talking
not
the bigger,
moved it.
the
The
bigger
greenies,
guys.
the
But
green
it
bass, yes.
totally threw me way off track about water temperature, and then there was a Jubilee this morning,
Yeah?
which
Oh,
is
and
like
you were working over
totally
there.
way too early. Water temps were 70 degrees this morning in the bay.
Really?
There was a
North
Jubilee.
wind.
So for y'all, those of y'all who don't know what a Jubilee is, there's only 2 places in the entire world where this happens.
Tokyo Bay and where?
And
Eastern Shore.
Eastern Shore,
Eastern
Mobile
Shore.
Bay. Scientists aren't still sure exactly what happens, but they believe it to be a decrease in oxygen in the water, and it causes all the fish and crustaceans to come out and run up on the shore. You still have to abide by regulations.
I love seeing those
You
guys
cannot
get
keep
tickets.
a
Yeah, I think a
flounder.
load of corn.
I love it, dude.
Cannot go over your limits. I know those fish are dying, but the Acuna
not dying.
Matata, they will be eaten
They are
by
definitely
other species.
lethargic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But,
it's just insanely early. Like we're
it is. It's not hot.
It is
enough.
early.
it's not hot yet.
Yeah, this
Hell, we're
normally
just
wouldn't
getting out of
happen.
spring.
And it was
Yeah.
different. There was trout and redfish. It wasn't just
Oh, yeah, you've
flounder
seen
and
it, yeah.
shrimp.
The Jubilee
Yeah,
this
there was
morning.
lots of trout and redfish in there.
That is unusual. It's usually flounder, crabs,
Yes,
shrimp,
a lot of stuff on
stingrays,
the bottom.
stingrays.
Catfish.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
They
got
got like the
video of
catfish
it.
out.
Trout coming right up on the shore. That's
Huh.
like
Strange. Maybe somebody smacked the water with a big old paddle.
But again, you have to abide by fishing game regulations. So
Yeah, don't mess up.
you
Don't
can't
do not
they're
mess up because
looking.
they love Green Jeans loves writing those tickets.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to tell somebody they're in the wrong too if I see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
No,
It's
100%.
not cool.
Not cool at all.
Are you gonna send us out, Captain Jody?
Yeah, what's is anybody you got anything you want to add?
No,
So let me ask one more thing before we go. One more thing on this, and I'm going to turn this to Joe and Jason again for flounder. So flounder are known to stack up. You usually catch one, you can pull a couple more out of a hole. How what is the most you've pulled out of one little general vicinity that you're working, like before you change completely? What's the most you found in one spot?
Man, I don't really think it's holes, but I have pulled like 3 out of a 10-foot area, and that's probably the most. I find them every 10, 12 foot down the bank.
Just lined up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with nose to the grass.
I will say, I fished 2 docks. Now these docks are 30 foot apart, but I pulled 22 flounder off of those
2 docks.
30.
Yeah.
You got pictures?
Huh?
You got pictures?
Yeah.
No photos.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, I got video and pictures.
What made me bring
22
it?
flounder in 10 feet.
So the reason I asked
It's
that
like
is we-
30 foot.
30
30
I
foot.
said it was
Yeah,
2
Jason was
docks.
10 feet.
Yeah.
But the reason I asked that is we had probably one of the best inshore charters I've had since we've been in business, and it was a lot of flounder with the guys. And I told them as soon as they caught one, I said, throw back there. We ended up catching 6 in that same little 10-foot area right there within 15 minutes.
A deep pocket or a ledge?
It was right outside the, where the West Pass is there, the deep channel.
Yeah.
We're working that ledge, and they were just like they were laid up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
catch-
it was nice. It made me look really good as a captain, but it was just one of those nights one of those afternoons where it was just on.
I get
So-
people ask me about spots. Show me a spot, but I'm gonna tell you, like if I do Weeks Bay, I'll do the full circle on that kayak. I'll go all the way to Pelican Point, cross over, catch the seawall, all the way back up in
Yeah, I've
Mag.
seen you
in
a
the
million
reserve.
times fishing that seawall.
And once you do that circle,
All right.
You should have caught fish.
Yeah.
no doubt.
I will say, where I caught all those flounder at, in front of those docks was 14 foot deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 holes.
Well,
I don't know.
anything else y'all want to add?
I hope y'all learned something.
I learned some stuff tonight, definitely.
Hey, thanks, Jason, for coming out so
Yeah, I
much.
appreciate it
We
again,
got
y'all.
Trevor and Gio over here,
They're over there fighting
engineering,
with the GoPros right
fighting
now.
with the
We're having
GoPros
some
and the audio.
difficulties.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys, Robert, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you want to
Jay,
send
thanks.
us out since your camera's working over here?
What am I saying?
Whatever you want to say, man. Thanks whoever you want to thank. Thank Jason. Thank your wife for letting you participate tonight. Whatever you want to do.
Thanks, love. Yeah, dude, big thanks for Jason coming out. Y'all make sure to go give him a
Yeah,
follow.
man,
Jason Shrimp Pimp Fishing.
I am so
Shrimp
excited
Pimp
that he's
Fishing.
the newest member of our pro
Yeah,
staff.
dude.
Yes.
He's a hammer.
Heck yeah, man. Heck
Shrimp
yeah.
Pimp Fishing. Check
Yeah,
him out
I
on all
appreciate
your socials.
Remember, go like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Hey, big shout out. Hey, hero.
Hey, hero.
Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's fish like a local.
An Angler's Podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran first responder service organization.